Greetings, fellow citizens of White Pine Bay. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to Talking Mrs. Bates, the show where we check into the Bates Motel.
But we don't always check out.
Tonight we'll be talking about Season 2, Episode 4, entitled The Lights of Winter. Yes. All right, Blue Dragon 5, a couple interesting things to note about this episode before we kind of dive right into it. I gotta be honest with you, I think the season's been off to a rocky start. I think this is probably more of a slow-paced filler kind of episode. Not necessarily filler, but more just kind of like, all right, it's character study. It's kind of like it's Norman getting into another state. Another kind of transitional point.
Absolutely.
But I noticed the director, T.J. Scott, actually is kind of prolific on Gotham as well, another show we follow. So without further ado, I kind of want to play a game called Gotham Episode Roulette. Do you like these episodes or do you not like these episodes? Because quite frankly, I think this guy kind of has like a spotty track record with Gotham.
Before we go forward, Tigger, just your screen is locked, correct?
Yeah, it's locked.
I just wanted to make sure, Okay, I'm sorry, go on.
It's locked. We got it. Okay. So first episode he directed was Arkham, which was one of the early episodes that kind of started the trend of Arkham is barely even in the episode. It's just kind of talked about in a business deal, and that's it. So what do you think? Good episode? Solid?
Arkham had some decent stuff, but, the villain was kind of, in retrospect, the villain, I like a good hitman character, but his main thing was, like, getting people that were stupid enough to look inside the device, so, But don't get me wrong, the introduction, it was a firm introduction. They introduced some interesting ideas, kind of Arkham is this ominous, kind of coveted land for the mob, but, again, barely in the episode, so it's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay, Spirit of the Goat!
Yes, and initially that was a good introduction to Bullock, and just kind of made us, if we haven't fallen in love with Bullock already, just give him kind of a full episode fleshing out how this guy operates. Good, it's got some decent stuff in there.
I actually think Spirit of the Goat is one of the more underrated episodes of Gotham. I certainly wouldn't put it in like my top 5 or anything like that, but it had a lot of really cool qualities too.
But at the time, that one was like the first introduction that, this show can definitely the show definitely has potential to do these character study episodes that kind of look at the myth of Gotham, which is good.
All right, I'm going to deflate your balloon, Blue Dragon 5. I'm just going to take that balloon you have and just deflate it, all right? Under the Knife.
Which, oh, God, don't tell me that.
Part 2 of the Peter Petrelli saga.
Not part 2.
Yep.
Moving on.
All right, yeah.
Please.
Strike Force, which is a decent episode. It kind of had a big task to follow, following the last laugh. And introduce Barnes. Good stuff in there. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And then finally, By Fire, which was the conclusion to the Firefly storyline.
Yeah. Sounds mostly solid. Mostly solid, but nothing really wowing.
Like if this was Sesame Street, it'd be kind of like one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, but overall it's mostly solid, nothing wowing from Gotham. But this episode, a little more impressive than those, I would wager.
Yeah. So, all right. So without further ado, let's just kind of like dive right into the thick of things. And why is it this a Christmas episode, Blue Dragon?
You want to get into that? Okay, should we get into that now? Right when we're
let's get into that. We might as well.
So let me just point out how ridiculous this is. In a show where you think it's about a family at its core, and it's about Norman and Norma, you think they would make reference to the fact that, hey, Christmas is coming up before just randomly doing a Christmas episode.
But then we get a title like Winter's Lights, and I thought like ever since we got that title, I was like, oh, Christmas.
Tiki, stick close to the microphone. You're kind of
sorry. I'm good.
One more time, say your stuff again. I don't think people heard.
Oh yeah. I just said as soon as I saw the Winter Lights or Lights of Winter or whatever the title was, I was like, oh, this has got to be a Christmas episode.
Yeah, I mean, again, the speculatory days, we figure kind of like they kind of transition between seasons, and we always longed for a Bates Motel Christmas special, and I had mine was sleigh bells, and yours was the rosebud, the rosebud style kind of heartwarming Remo Dylan story.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm still proud of that. I don't know every time we do a pitch, I always have like some really intricate, awesome dream sequence in my. Remember, I had the whole sleigh bells blackout. Wherever he hears sleigh bells, he wants to kill someone because it mixes him with abuse. And then we had that payoff of the season somehow.
Sure.
We had him have him black out, and remember some abusive stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. But fact of the matter is, I was just kind of like teased by this title, and I'm upset. No, I'm not really upset. I'm kind of milking how upset I am, but.
Well, it was a lovely festival, though.
It was. All right, so where do we start off this episode?
So we start off this episode with Norman.
We start off this episode by promoting our good friends at the Movie Machine podcast.
Yeah. What podcast, Tiki?
The Movie Machine podcast over at hotchocolatemedia.com. Featuring Jacob Gulliver.
Yeah.
Ben Lipson, Kyle Decker, Alex Jeffries.
Those guys, too.
Jeffries. Oh, my God.
And now it's live. Seriously, folks, it's live. How cool is that? Go meet him in person. You get to shake hands with the voice that has filled your days of woe and litany. That is Death's Side, the most intimidating force in Super Academy. Just you do not want to cross. If you hear this guy, you're just gonna like, okay, I need new pants. Just oh my God, this guy's. You got to meet Alex Jeffries. You got to meet the fantastic creative team behind Super Academy. But it's not about Super Academy. It's about this really interesting podcast where they come up with some really interesting ideas and they riff on it. And it's fun. It's a good time. Go check it out. Go listen to it. Go see them live. Sell them out. All that stuff.
Tim Curry in a serious drama they did last episode, so that's always a fun time.
Enough said.
All right.
So back to this. So speaking of kind of violent blackout sequences that kind of really awesome and really well done. We started the episode like that, where Norman's just he's in his room in Pine View, and he's having a little flashback of some of Norma's quote unquote victims.
Oh yeah.
So we see Norman's father, Sam Bates, and we see Blair Watson. You could say you might be able to phrase it like that.
Yes, who's B? Who's B indeed? Right.
So let's see. So as he's kind of like finishing, again, it looks like Norman may or may not be drifting in the blackout mode here. Before that can even happen, he's interrupted by Oliver. No, folks, not Oliver Queen. Oh, it's a different show. But Oliver, the friendly medicine distributor at Pine View Institute.
Everyone in Pine View is very, very pleasant. I mean, you got to give them props for that.
Yeah, they must get paid a lot. No, not really.
So, you guys just kind of casually asking Norm Bennett's night. Norm's like, well, I was locked in here like a prisoner, so how do you think my night was?
Well, maybe we should have the future Emmy winner say a little better than you or I could do it.
How do you think, Oliver? I was locked in like a prisoner.
Seriously though, a part of me is thinking, oh my God, they could just slip that in the arrow sometime, be hysterical. They'll never do that, obviously, because why in the heck would they do something like that? But it's for the Bates Motel fans like ourselves, like wondering, what would it sound like if Norman Bates met Oliver Queen somehow?
Oh God.
No,
right.
Name similarities can be funny, folks. That's all we're getting at there. Point is, I do love this pleasant nurse. Again, he's not a nurse. He's the guy that distributes the meds. So yeah, however you want to phrase it. Point is, a pleasant fellow comes in there and he says, "Oh yeah, well, how was your night? Terrible. You love he's just kind of mistreating the staff. You're just trying to be nothing but friendly to him. Yeah, he's not being.
I love how the staff. I'm pretty sure the staff has kind of just developed a tolerance to Norman at this point, where they're just like, Norman can just say the most outlandish shit, and they'll just be like, well, okay then.
Yep, I'd rather stick hot pins in my eyes.
Well, all right, Norman. That's just great. That's wonderful.
Okay, but importantly, our med guy here, he's visiting Norman because he's paying off the idea that Norman has mentioned that he would like to take medication for his blackouts, ideally so he can get out of there faster and so he can exit Pine View as soon as he can. So, Norman's just not feeling it today. He's starting his day out with a blackout, saying, "You know what? I want to be like this the whole day. I'm not feeling like kind of going through kind of a medically pushed aside blackout. I don't want that sort of thing." But importantly, Norman wants to make a private call.
Oh yeah.
And he turns down his medication, but he's told by Oliver here he can't leave. He can't leave the room if he doesn't take the medication. And even if he turns down the medication, he has to get a visit by a doctor to talk to him. Say, "Why aren't you taking your meds?" That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Norman relents. He takes it. They do the cheek check. They basically shine the light in there and just see, okay, is he cheeking it? Is he somehow stuffing it somewhere? Nope. But Norman, he's smarter than the average inmate. Well, not inmate, than the average. Sorry, I keep thinking Arkham when I think of. I'm sorry. I know that's horribly offensive. I'm sorry, folks. Just that.
That is kind of offensive.
I don't mean it that way. It's just Arkham is.
I know you don't want me to bring my personal shit into it, but yeah, comparing a mental institution to Arkham, yeah, not good, not good.
Well, so much for that. Okay.
Anyway,
sorry, Arkham's is really ingrained.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you on the spot like that. I'm sorry.
Arkham's just ingrained in my DNA, folks.
I know it is. Plus,
with Killing Joke coming out, I'm sorry, it's just on my mind.
Have you seen the 12-minute feature on Killing Joke?
No, I'm saving it till next week.
You're saving it? Good choice.
I'm going to be watching a crappy Justice League movie, and I want to have something positive to glean from it all.
Oh God!
I gotta watch the Teen Titans fight the Justice League, and it's gonna suck. But I want something good.
Have fun with that.
Anyway, that's why. Do you think I don't want to watch that Killing Joke sneak peek? You think I don't want to watch it anyway?
Oh,
so the point is, Norman being crafty. The guy leaves and he puts the finger down the throat, and he's throwing up that medication, so he's still going to definitely be blacking out later in the episode. We're going to see it. It's going to be awesome.
Best spring for throwing up poison. Yeah,
certainly. If he put a towel on the floor, that would have been exactly like it. Okay, let's see. So Norman's now he's allowed to leave since he took the medication. He's walking out of that room. That's also kind of creepy. He's just kind of locked in there with a little pin code and everything. It is kind of a prisoner setup he got going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting kind of an Arkham vibes. They're really locked down, kind of like Arkham. I know it's a real practice that doesn't go on, yeah, but just I don't know. I think subconsciously it's an Arkham setup in my mind.
Oh, so Julian comes on. He's like, "Oh, what's the word? Hummingbird." Very playful, very playful.
It goes a little something like this. I think that is what I love about that little clip there, is it just summarizes Norman and Julian's entire dynamic in that little moment there, because just, Norman doesn't really want to talk to Julian unless he has to. He's just, this guy's an annoyance. He just keeps prying. He's like jumping, he's bouncing off the walls, and he says, not now, Julian. This guy, you have to throw the blackout medication. I'm not crazy about everything today. Don't bother me, Julian. Wait a minute. I need Julian's experience here. Julian, come over here. Come on.
Pretty much.
Pushes him away and then realizes, I need him.
And Julian, of course, is so desperate to make a friend that, even if he knows he's being manipulated, he's like, "Ooh, okay."
So what he mentioned there is that he wants to make a private call. He wants to make a private call and wondering if Julian can help him out there, and he can. Mm-hmm. So the caper's afoot, quite literally, because in Julian's shoe is a butter knife he uses to kind of pick a lock on a door. Mm-hmm. He breaks into the night staff, one of the night staffers' office. Basically someone's not going to be there during the day, and they basically get in there and use the phone. You dial 9, and he calls an old friend, an old relative, someone so close to him you could say brotherly. Dylan. Calls Dylan.
Dylan.
So calls Dylan. Dylan's very surprised. Now again, I love how Max Theriot plays this moment. By the way, he plays it excellently.
Totally.
Because again, he wants to support his brother, but he's playing the conflict really. For these two haven't really shared a scene in person together, and this is the closest we're getting to that right now, of these two kind of interacting over the phone. It's like Dylan kind of surprised that the call is coming out of nowhere, which is kind of the brilliance of having him not be in person. Of like, here's the ominous voice of his brother, who's like he's gone missing, hasn't seen him in maybe a month. I don't know. We don't know how long he was over in Portland. Maybe at least a few weeks. Anyway, so you ask how he is, and Norman's calling with a cryptic warning, telling him he has to help Norma because there's an impending police visit that he should be there to protect her and look out for her.
So, do you think he's kind of just like flip-flopping around on his hatred for Norma? Like, what do you think his mental state is right now? I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, remember, as he has been saying, he is definitely worried about his mother. So, I mean, that's the thing. Despite the fact that he's really disappointed and angry at her, it's the fact.
Do you think he basically told Edwards what he did? But this is what my read on it is, that his strategy with telling Edwards what he did at the end of last episode was kind of to ensure that he got out quicker. Maybe it was kind of for his own self-benefit.
You know what? I think you're on the sun there, Tiki.
I feel like they're being a little bit ambiguous about it. You know what I mean?
They are, but you know what, Tiki? I think you're on the right track there, because he was very peeved at Norma the last episode, and then it's just like he has reached the point of he was going to talk to her, it's just the spider, and then he realized that was a horrible mistake, and just realized he needs to help his mother, and he just wants to, it's called a mistake on Norman's part. He's just trying to account for really hard this episode. He wants to help his mother, but at the same time, he's still very conflicted about how he feels about her, because she did betray him in his mind in a very big way.
Okay, fair enough.
And we'll see how it plays out. Maybe we'll see if again, it wouldn't be surprising if Norman's just kind of flip-flopping, because we've seen him do that through the other 3 seasons, where he's, as part of a long-spanning arc, don't get me wrong, but 3, he was kind of flip-flopping like this also. Remember, he was trying to make Norma jealous of his relationship with Emma, and then, so he's trying to. Again, by the way, I just want to point out we definitely get some of this in this season, where again they date people just to make each other jealous. You notice how creepy that is?
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, so he's calling Dylan. The way Max Theory plays is that he wants to help his brother, but he knows that it's a really interesting position that he's able to play here, where he can't take what Norman's telling him at face value. He's trying to be supportive, but he's aware that he can't take everything he's saying as true, because Norman was so bad to the point where he has to be committed.
Right.
So I mean, knowing this, Norman eventually just tells him to kind of discard what he's telling him. It goes a little something like this. Really well acted on both parts here, even though again they don't really share the scene together. It's the person, but it plays really well. It's good acting. You have good phone acting. It goes a little something like this.
Just calm down, okay? You need to calm down. Is your doctor around? No, I'm not the one in trouble. What is wrong with everyone? Okay, Norman. Okay, I'll be there for her. It's gonna be okay. No, Dylan, it isn't. It's not okay. It's all gonna fall to shit. What's your doctor's name? Can I call him? No. You know what, Dylan? I'm just upset. All's good, actually. Never mind, Dylan. All right, bye.
Yeah, I love how Norman just has that switch. Like, no, everything's fine, Dylan. Everything's fine. Bye. And also, what?
You assume on the other end of that, after he hangs up there, Dylan's thinking to himself.
What's that?
And also, like a young Bruce Wayne, I love how Dylan is. He's genuinely trying to help out in this situation.
Yeah, again, I love how he's just trying to talk him down, like kind of a Batman, Bruce Wayne action there,
Sure. All right, folks, and then we get into the return of America's favorite sitcom, Me and My Normero.
That was your laugh track. Next on America's Funniest Podcasting Bloopers.
It's because Normero is both dramatic and funny.
Yeah. But back on America's favorite sitcom. Well, I'm sorry, before that happens, we glazed over something important.
What? I'm
We
sorry.
get a very awesome Machiavellian Norman bit here.
Oh,
where,
yes. Oh,
after
yes. Oh, go ahead.
Let's not forget this. Anyways, after Norman gets off the phone, his good buddy Julian offers to break him out, but it goes a little something like this. I mean, if you thought the beginning of Better Call Saul, if you saw the first scene of Chuck this season was Machiavellian, that has nothing compared to this.
Need me to break you out of here? It's like totally good. I'm going to study how to do it. No, I don't. Thank you, Julian. The world has gone mad, but I'm not. I will be out of here today.
That's a cool setup for an episode because really, it doesn't seem like he's going to be on the fast track to getting out of there.
Right. But in his own mind, he's kind of like he's wanting to think that he is.
And what's so interesting about this episode, a lot of times you can see in the behavior patterns and speech patterns as well. He's definitely emulating his mother. I mean, in his DNA in many places, he is kind of becoming Norma here. It's just he's so confident and he's so villainous and confident, kind of like a season 5 Walter White, where he's just so confident.
Sure. And
again,
speaking
like
of
that.
Breaking Bad, now in the next scene we have breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
By the way, I made a reference. I don't know if you counted that.
Yeah, I counted it.
Good. Well, not just about our Cranston-esque figure, but I mean of the other spin-off show.
Oh, you're right. You did mention Better Call Saul. Oh, rude of me.
Anyway, so let's see. So sounding very he's sounding very confident that he's going to leave today, which is interesting stuff because we know it's not going to be. Sorry if I'm retreading over that. Anyway, so back to me and my Normero. Yeah, get the ooh buttons ready, folks, because it's the morning after.
I wish I had something like that.
Right. So
honestly, the only thing I have for something like that is like.
Well, things didn't go good. Things didn't go well last night. Now they're gonna bask in the aftermath.
Oh god.
Okay. Anyway, so as you said, Diggy.
Honey, breakfast is ready.
So Norma's made her man some breakfast.
Of course she has.
And we can tell things were passionate and went well after this little introduction there.
Wait. What was that?
I imagine Norma, after things going so well last night, she would respond with Romero coming down the stairs like this.
Oh God. For some reason, I thought you spliced together like that. I don't know.
Anyway, but no, seriously,
I'm tired. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, but seriously, this is how it actually went down. This still sounds very impassioned. Like, to forget 50 Shades of Grey, we're talking 50 Shades of Normero here. Why can't women in their 40s be obsessed with this over that book? That's my question.
Oh God. My mom really loves this show, so I think there's a demographic for kind of like that age range.
Well, that's a point for our side then.
Anywho. Okay, so.
Anyway, so we see Norma. She's still warming up to the marriage idea. And they're taking their time, and again, I like that she's taking her time. Like they're making out, they're making kissy, all that stuff. Things are going.
Oh, Granny, can we do kissy?
I guess. So I always love that Miss Piggy running game with Norma. Sorry, but
kissy.
Okay, but seriously, she's.
How could you do kissy with Rebecca? Rebecca would totally be Denise.
Yes, how dare you? How dare Rebecca cheat on Chuck like that? See, that's what dissolved the relationship, and we're gonna need a coin for that one.
Oh no! Yeah, you're right. We are. Okay.
Okay, but seriously, with Norma here, I like with the character right now. She's warming up to the marriage more than she was last episode. Again, with the way that ended. but she is taking her time. Though she's not quite. She's still like hesitant, like they're kissing, and then she kind of like says, "I'm not ready for that quite yet." It's like not just like unencumbered, like they were in the heat of the moment when they slept together. But this is like kind of a routine thing. Of, like they definitely have feelings for each other, but she's still like, I don't know. It's like a false marriage, but we like each other. I'm not quite sure where we stand. I'm not ready quite yet to make this a regular thing anyway. But she still is quite the happy homemaker, and I love that she's at the same time mothering Romero by like again, she's filling the void of Norman with Romero in a very creepy way, it sounds.
Of course.
But seriously, the way that plays this adorably and suggestively, again, 50 Shades of Normero, goes a little something like this, and it's the most adorable Norma Bates thing in this episode, probably. Well, short of another moment later in the episode, I'm sorry. Goes a little something like this.
You sit down and eat because it's not going to be as cold. Well, you're a big guy. I'm big and tallish. Just the way you
Again, I tell you, it's so adorable and so endearing that she's not. You're
a strong growing man. A strong growing man needs a good breakfast.
Again, so like that, she's mothering him, but at the same time, she's also complimenting him. Seriously, I love at the end there. It's like how they slipped that in there with Norma. There was just these. She's saying, "Well, you're a big guy. I meant big and tall, not." But then she hesitates, saying, "Well, anyway, oh god." But I think Romero's response to that accusation would be,
not magical.
That's what I think.
Of course.
Okay, anyway, but remember, it's she. I'm sorry, she after the big guy line, which is pretty funny. Romero mentions getting a joint checking account, make things more real, make things more official. And I like this, though. Again, this is like I think the dialogue is delivered so well by the actors this episode. So I know it's a big surprise for the show having excellent dialogue and excellent performances.
No.
No, but seriously, I like these lines.
I thought we were watching Gotham.
It kind of hurt.
I know. I'm sorry. I like Gotham too.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
No. But seriously, that with this with the joint checking account, it sounds like such a mundane thing. Don't get me wrong, I love my mundane stuff here, but delivered by lesser actors could be like, oh yeah, I think we should get a joint checking account. Oh yes, I'd like that. But the way they deliver is like you can tell there's so many levels going on here between them. It's like saying what's communicated with the whole joint checking account is like. That's Norma saying, I definitely see hope in our relationship, and I like having you as my fake husband. Seriously, that's what's kind of coming about, like a joint checking account. She's saying, well, yeah, if it makes the marriage real, saying, yeah, I definitely think we should move in our relationship, but I'm not quite ready to put it on paper. But yes, if it's false commitment, absolutely.
Oh, Rosemary, I'll show a joint checking account with you.
Yeah. It's I just like it's an actual smart move at the same time as like it's something kind of it's a way of Norma getting close to Romero and admitting, yes, I do definitely want a relationship with you without like in so many words saying. I think it's like kind of smart, precise dialogue. I like that.
Only problem is that the worst character that's ever been on the show has to fucking be on screen.
Really, the worst character
ever.
Worst character. I know one worse.
I am so down on her. Everything I predicted about Rebecca has came true. I don't like her at all. I want her gone.
There is one more character. There's another character that's much worse than Rebecca.
The little deputy woman.
Yes. Far worse than
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
But she only had like 2 or 3 little moments. I mean, she's not like being forced into the plot. It's like this main device like Rebecca is.
She forcefully moved the plot forward.
Yeah, well, anyways, we'll get to that when we get to that, but I kind of have some ranty stuff to go over with Rebecca.
I still wish Romero did hang her in the highest tree.
I know, right?
Okay, let's see. So Romero also brings up the Winter Festival. Norma mentioned she's going to visit Emma, so she probably won't be back in time for it. So, they'll probably go alone. I like how Romero's thinking kind of politically here of like, well, you are we are married. Why don't you kind of come to events with me? And it's like,
Sure.
I gotta shake hands, kiss babies, be praised by the residents there because I am the god of White Pine Bay after all.
I also like how Romero's so amused that Dylan and Emma are together. Like, he's genuinely like kind of like tickled by that. He's like, really? Oh, those two kids got together. That's so nice.
I got my happy ending. They're getting their happy ending. Hooray!
Oh God.
And with Norman away in Pineview, we're all gonna live. It's gonna be forget what's that black and white movie on them? It's like, imagine Nestor Carbonell. Like, imagine if he knew nothing about getting the call. Like, oh yeah, I was from Lost. I'm on the show now. It's like it's a romantic comedy. I mean, she's just Sarah. It has to be a comedy. It's like no, just Carlton Cuse calling him some that time. Nestor, listen, we got it's not exactly a romantic comedy per se, but
there's signs of romantic comedy.
Basically, it's an open-ended contract for a reason, Nestor. You should probably read over the script a few more times. Oh, come on. It can't be... Oh. Well, that's a shame. We love Nestor Carbonell. Good actor. Anyway. Let's see. So, there's this really adorable thing. Again, I think encapsulates, again, brilliant, good visual storytelling here, which shows Norma's feelings on screen here, which is like she's holding Romero's hand as she's in denial of the fact that she has finally found a good match for her, a good man, like an excellent husband.
Totally,
she's holding his hand for a moment, then she's scared off. She's, well, I gotta get going. It's like still, she's so close to having a happy life, but Norman in the back of her mind is like reminding her, no, you need me in your life. What? He can't fill that void. What's going on? You betrayed me. What's going on? So,
man.
And remember, I mean, she gets in her car. I mean, at the same time, in her mind, she's thinking, yeah, that's what she's thinking. Because she's so sad. But at the same time, though, she gets in that car. She has this really winning smile, like, I like being married. It's like so adorable. It's like you want good things for Norma Bates, and the sad thing is we know doom is in her future. Yep.
Okay.
And
then we get reintroduced to the comedic stylings of Dickie.
Goes a little something like this.
I'm Dickie. We've already met, Dickie. I don't think so. I do. Yesterday and this morning. Twice.
Okay, let me tell you the best thing about this, and we'll break out the pleasantries jar. I absolutely love how, in spite of Norman obviously being annoyed by this, he still reaches out and awkwardly shakes Dickie's hand.
He does, and I love that.
That is some pleasant Norman Bates right there. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Tiki. I'm so glad, because I rewatching it, I completely forgot about that bit, but rewatching it.
No. Like, I didn't catch it until the rewatch, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's like the nicest thing.
Yes,
it kind of reminds me of that moment with Penguin in Arkham where he's like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? What's up, buddy? You know what? Genuine concern. You know what I mean?
You know what it vaguely reminds me of? Just showing you kind of like. It kind of reminds me of when Abbott and Costello on the Abbott and Costello show, they would have these skits where they go to kind of basically so they could like reenact their old routines. They would go to the Bud Abbott gets committed because he thinks he was a millionaire for a moment. He gets committed to a mental institution, and Lou Costello has to go to bail him out. But he's so pleasant to the other residents who are there, like kind of coming up to him, and they're getting their shticks. Like a guy thinks he can fly because he has a beanie propeller on his head. A guy thinks guy thinks he's the president. All these kind of funny things. But Lou Costello's so endearing. He says, "Oh yeah, well, hey, how you doing?" He doesn't get it at first. He's like thinks, okay, well, this guy, he's nuts, but he finds that out gradually through time. It's something like that. It's like being pleasant to these oddball characters coming up by it, but it's endearing. It's like, oh, that Luke Costello,
totally.
Nice guy. And Norman Bates, he's Julian is like, this guy, but I need him. And the other guy, it's like, Dickie, let's give Dickie a little encore here because I love this guy. It goes a little something like this, and then the first time we met this character.
It's so good to see you. It's good to see you too. Oh no, I was talking to my son, but I still need it.
Most pleasant.
Again, just very, 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 very pleasant. Just entirely pleasant.
Absolutely. All right. Anyway, so then a nurse comes by, and we get to see Norman be belligerent to the staff of this nice facility yet again.
Oh God! Oh God!
Norman, they're waiting for you in the room. Yes, I'm not going. Schedule for you, then I'll go and I'll find back to you. Okay, Jake. You obviously didn't get the memo because I am being released today. You can go ask Dr. Edwards. Okay, thank you. Well done. But no, bad idea. Obviously no idea what is going on in this place. I am being released today. To tell you, Dr. Edwards, I mean, this one doesn't understand that I'm leaving. You know the truth now. I have to be all I have to help my brother's wrong. Let's go sit.
So it looks like Norman's going to have a little sit down with Dr. Edwards. But before we get to that scene, we have Dylan and Emma going for a little walk on the roof. And it's a nice looking roof, too.
And Emma kind of mentions that exercising the legs prevents blood clots, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
One
also,
more thing to worry about. Oh, cigarette!
Yeah, that's. By the way, I think that might be a callback to way back in season 2 when Dylan used to smoke. Season 1 when Dylan used to smoke. Yeah. I'm glad they got rid of that, by the way, because it never looked that good.
And then we have a really nice, quiet moment on the rooftop that, frankly, just lowers the death odds for my top 2 death candidates. Like, literally, my top 2 picks on the Deadpool draft. Just like, odds are slim now. So what happens? What happens?
Oh, by the way, so real quick, the smoke again. Dylan didn't bring the cigarettes because that'd be really irresponsible and really callous on his part. No, he had those. He was left those behind.
Oh yeah, Emma. I mean, your looks are fine, right? So I'm just like, smoke like right in your face, like.
Yeah. Dylan, it's not the 40s. Stop that.
Dylan, you're supposed to be Christopher Nolan Bruce Wayne, not freaking like 40s serial Bruce Wayne.
Okay, so so she's enjoying the area, finally able to breathe without tubes in her nose. Things are coming up Millhouse for Emma. Everything's going well. And she mentions big old saving grace here for her that might kind of maybe clinch her odds of not dying. She mentions there's this respiratory center in Seattle that her father wants her to go to just to be safe and make sure her has the best chance of the lung repair and everything. And also that there's a college in Seattle that would definitely fit her needs. Mm-hmm. But you notice, they take her away from White Pine Bay and take her away from Dilly Poo. So
Dilly Poo.
Take her away from Dylan. Sorry, we're getting all schmaltzy and romantic this episode. I'm sorry. On there, it was like it was so cute. It ruined us in many respects. Like we've all gotten sweetness cavities just watching that.
Oh god.
Anyway, but seriously, though, this is a really sweet scene. It's just she asked if Dylan would consider moving with her, and I love this as a runner with Dylan because Dylan throughout his life has felt so excluded by Norma in the beginning. And just whenever someone reaches out to him, gives him an offer like, come with us, he always feels really touched. There's that excellent moment at the end of season 2 where Norma says, I got you a ticket. He says, wait, you got me a ticket?
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
So, you got to imagine, whenever that happens for Dylan, that's always communicating, like, people want me.
Uh-huh.
So, again, that's such a sweet thing. And just like her saying, well, look, we'd like you to come along. He says, really? You want me to come along with you?
Nice girl, too, because she's being so awkward about the way she's presenting this. Like,
yeah.
Like, well, it's just like, I don't know. It's a huge thing to ask. You don't want to uproot your whole life for someone you don't even really, you're hardly even going out with.
Yep.
And then what's our young Bruce Wayne come back with?
He'll go if she wants him to.
Oh yeah. Now that's a classy guy. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't do anything like she puts a hand on top of his face and he says,
okay.
And he says something like, "It's what I do that defines me."
Oh man.
Okay, let's see. So back to Norman and Edwards here. Norman's mentioning that since he's told the truth. I basically asked about what about the truth? I told you the truth last session there, and Edwards pointed out. This is okay. I do have 2 gripes with this episode.
All right.
I think your grudge. I'm assuming your main grudge is going to be with Rebecca, but we'll get to
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But my grudge are they're minor, but I just hope they pay off. Otherwise, they are going to be an issue. That they're really ambiguous of whether Edwards has contacted the police or not.
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying, especially because they made such a big deal out of it the last episode. That was the big cliffhanger and everything.
But here's what really bugs me about the reason that we don't know, because he says he contacted the sheriff, and we know who the sheriff is in this town.
Right, right.
And I'm saying, like, unless it's like, how hard is it to get an email to the sheriff Romero?
Oh God.
And that's the only thing I can fathom, because unless they do something, they have to address it in some way. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems with that. If they say, "Oh yeah, Romero, just the sheriff, we got something for you. It's been days." No, but seriously, so Norman's since he told the Norma truth, he says it's being looked into, but he is in Edward's care. And again, you have to wonder if Edwards is holding back on that to kind of work through Norman's. Like he's not in his right state of mind, so maybe he's not. Again, kind of in Dylan's position where we don't know, we can't really trust him with what he's saying here. So we're just going to use that information, tell him that, oh yes, we're looking into it. Sure. Now tell me why you'd say this. And he says, I believe you think that's true. So again, it's up in the air whether he's really told him. All the evidence presented was, I'm thinking that he did not tell Romero, but Edward seems like an upstanding guy.
I'm surprised if he did tell specifically Romero. I think that would be a bigger plot point. Like, I think if he were to tell Romero, I think, like you said, we kind of have to double back and backtrack on it to get to that point again.
Yeah, regardless, I mean, we saw, he said he was going to tell the authorities, and there's no evidence that they've been looking into it, because that was the big cliffhanger of like, oh no, they're going to, again, big cliffhanger, not a lot of payoff. But we'll see. We'll give them some rub. They've given us like 3.5 seasons of utterly fantastic stuff.
If you like big cliffhangers with not a lot of payoff, just fucking watch The Walking Dead. That's all that show is.
So people, I heard people weren't thrilled with that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was fucking awesome, and he was everything I hoped he would be. But yeah. Anyways.
Okay, let's see. So, trying to figure what we are here. So then Norman just kind of delivers this to the doctor. The doctor saying, "Will you allow me to help you?" It doesn't go so well.
Do you understand? I understand that there's no one here that I can trust.
Ooh.
Ready, boy. I'm going to talk about my feelings in group.
I love Norman just. I gotta tell you, Norman in Mind You is giving some excellent lines.
Yeah, he is. Very much so.
Everything's going to crap. He's just telling him, he's like, I'm going to group to talk about my feelings. And I guess we're just gonna sit here.
I think we're just gonna sit here. Then is probably the top so far. That's just like.
I'm saying Norman's getting some excellent line. I'd rather put pins in my eyes. He's getting excellent lines. He's getting excellent lines in this facility. I just want to say that he's getting some excellent lines. Anyway, so Norman's heading to group. But we see actually a little later on, I guess, Norman's heading to the front door to leave, but Luther, the guard here,
the nicest guard ever, by the way. Just this guy seems so pleasant, just by the look of him and the demeanor of him.
Anyway, so Norman says he wants to go out there. He says, no, the courtyard for the patient that's over there. He says, no. He says, I'm going through this door before some physicality has to be involved here. Julian swoops in, saves the day. He says, oh, no, don't bother Luthor. He's a nice guy. Come on, Norman. Let's talk. So he tells Norman that, look, you can't go about it this way. I mean, you're going to be like, have an IV and strapped to a gurney in your room or something if you keep going like this, which again might maybe shade some kind of unpleasant side of Pineview, perhaps.
Sure.
It might. I mean,
Strange is secretly running Pineview.
Oh God, and there's fireflies somewhere secretly in this. There's like a
troubled times, Norman. Troubled times.
There's Clayface in the basement. And Edwards just pulls off a flesh mask, and it's revealed to be Hugo Strange.
Oh God.
Please strap Mr. Bates down the table. And give him some ice cream. Then the Julian comes in. What flavor is it? What
flavor is it?
Okay, but seriously here, so Julian points out that he's escaped many times, and he can get him out tonight because he's been planning on leaving lately. If he wants to go, he can leave tonight if he wants to join him.
Mm-hmm.
He's half the reason for all these security measures.
Oh yeah.
So they agree.
Right.
They got this whole caper set up. We're going to see how that pays off. Meanwhile, Norma, our beloved Norma Bates, she's visiting Emma, and there's a meeting we've been waiting for this season. Norma,
adorable fucking reunion. Just absolutely adorable smiles on both their ends when they see each other.
Remember in season 3 where it's like they're going to Annika's room and they're singing. It's like they're like an investigative team, like Nancy Drew. You know, they're like. It's like murder.
They always make an awesome investigative team. Of course, we have the iconic like evil yoga pose with Emma was involved in that.
Yeah, it's like our partner's laid up in the hospital. It's like a Lethal Weapon with Emma and Norma. Emma's in the bed saying, "I'm getting too old for this." Okay, anyways, it goes a little something like this. Again, the reunion of the century, folks. And also, it's pointed out that they are addressing this, thankfully, that how you think Norman's going to react to the news, and there's no direct answer to that, like how Norman's going to react to hearing that news. Then she points out that she's. I like this detail. Dylan's been keeping Emma appraised of what's been going on with Norman.
Because that's where Emma was kind of introduced into the Bates family in the first place, was via Norman.
I gotta tell you, rewatching this, I love the way Emma's face lights up when she sees Norma.
Oh, yeah,
all the backstory there is that she does genuinely look up to Norma. Norma is her actual mother figure, despite the fact that her mother is dead.
Oh dear.
And killed by Norman, but let's notwithstanding. No, but seriously,
and Norma she's just thrilled with the whole situation with Dylan because, god damn it, Emma's such a nice girl. I mean,
yeah. But seriously though, it's just she is that mother figure, but also she's like that inspiring. Again, in all the Emma's blogs, which unfortunately have still not come back yet. But if it comes back, we'll be saying hallelujah if it does come back. But again,
really, like once she gets out of the hospital, I think that's it. I think that's kind of like the turning point. If we see her out of the hospital, moved in, it doesn't matter if it's like back in White Pine Bay or like moved to Seattle or whatever. As soon as she's out of the hospital, that's like, we're not getting any more blogs. Anyways.
Okay, let's see. So, point is, I just love seeing Emma's face light up. She gets to talk to this woman that she has such reverence for and such a great friendship with. And what's really great about this, too, is that I love that Emma gives Norma actually some really excellent advice here. And just like, Norma has a moment to kind of just drop all her walls and defenses here and just kind of like, she confesses that, well, this is the best we can do for Norman right now. And then Emma gives her some really good advice and just kind of I think it really hits home with Norma. I love how it pays off in this episode for Norma. And it goes a little something like this. Really nice. Again, I think that's such an intelligent response there. Maybe let go a little bit. That is Norma's problem. The only person she'd ever hear that from and take it with a grain of salt. I mean, not with a grain of salt, just like take it at face value is from Emma.
Yeah, totally.
I think the only thing we can say before we go to our next scene, just on Norma's response to this could possibly would be such a good girl, I think sounds close.
Nice girl. Such a nice girl.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so then we get, I have in my notes, Romero gets text from the worst character. Man,
You really have it after Rebecca, don't you?
I have it after Rebecca.
Well, let's hope the other Rebecca is a lot better, which does require.
Oh, she already has, man. It's no contest. The other Rebecca's a lot better.
Will require a donation to our show fund.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. So yeah, remember he gets a text and then he's going to the bank. Off to the bank. Goes to the bank. Yep. So she's asking if Romero killed Bob Paris, and he's not answering that because I mean, how could he?
I'm not going to dignify that response.
Smart Romero. Because again, he doesn't want to give her anything to work with there, but at the same time, like, you dare challenge me, the god of White Pine Bay? You dare question me? No, but seriously.
Magic.
Yes. No, but seriously, Romero's playing his cards, see it close to the vest, and like, I cannot trust this woman. She has a vendetta against me. You know, this dreaded pink socks comment that's ominous. I don't want to trust her on that. But let's see. So, she's not answering that, and here's the main conflict. It's going to come back as our kind of our Romero plot going on here. So, there $3 million there were three. Sorry. In a safety deposit box, $3 million was left in it by Bob Harris, and Rebecca laundered that money under a fake name. Now the box requires 2 keys. The bank has one, which is in hand. You know, it's in her drawer, so she has the bank key. The other one, well, she heavily implies that she knows that Romero killed Bob Harris. Well, I don't think Bob's going to be using it.
Okay, 2 problems with this. I don't know. Mostly, my big problem with it is just how coy she is about the whole situation. Like we said, it's the god of White Pine Bay. You just don't go to the god of White Pine Bay and start throwing these accusations around.
Well, remember, I mean, to be fair to you, I mean, it's a very safe assumption that if Bob Harris disappears, a lot of stuff's been stirred up, directed at Romero. I think we know who's going to get rid of Bob Harris and who's going to have a fighting chance of getting rid of Bob Harris.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a fair assumption. Whenever there's a bad guy in town, who's going to take him down? It's Romero.
The one little tiny sliver of interest I have in Rebecca is the fact that she is kind of a former associate of Bob Harris's.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I mean, look, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying she's not wrong, and we know she's not wrong. It's a very fair assumption. That's not the issue with Rebecca. You know, it's the issue.
The issue is her approach, and the issue is kind of, frankly, the performance. I don't think the acting is that great on her.
Well, I'll admit, it's compared to, again, we have fantastic cast we've gotten to know for 3 seasons.
Saying,
let's be fair, but I mean, it's her coming. It's not the strongest approach coming in.
I don't think it's I really do just think the character was just thrown in there to cause drama for the Normero situation. I think that's just a cheap way to write a character.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe she'll get some cool stuff. Otherwise, yeah.
One funny bit here, though. Romero, he, first of all, he just says he doesn't have the key. She's like, oh, this money could be very useful to both of us. And then Romero also mentions he needs to open a joint checking account with his wife, and he says wife's name is Norma Louise Bates, Bates. And here, I'll give Rebecca a pass here because this was a genuinely enjoyable moment. Rebecca's like, yeah, I know how to spell Bates.
Well, should I just play it for novelty's sake at this point?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to go through this quickly, but go ahead.
I'll tell you why that bit's so great, by the way.
That's like the one good line she's had so far this season. The one good line.
No, but seriously, with the Bates thing, it's a great callback to Norma always having to spell her name in the first season whenever she had to go to the police department. It's like, how do you spell that? Seriously? It's like she has to. Basically, she has to. One, it's a very easy to spell name. One, it's a small business. It's insulting in itself. You've never heard of it. Right. It's just the fact that Norma keeps having to spell her name, and what's so great about this is it's Romero kind of insulting her at the same time, saying, oh, by the way, you could have just said this to anyone. But no, it's just, oh, and by the way, I'm not going to give you what you want, but do something for me, would you? It's awesome. I mean, Romero's just as awesome. Again, this woman's trying to call him out, saying, hey, give me the key so I can have $3 million. Says, no. And also, open me a checking account. I'm going to take money that probably might be the $3 million, but you're not getting it.
Right.
No, it's not. I don't think Romero has the $3 million, right? He doesn't have the $3 million. He just has a bunch of cash, right?
He has a bunch of cash, but he does have the key for sure.
Oh, yeah, he has the key, but there's a safety deposit box at the bank, so she physically has the cash there.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make that clear.
So Romero goes back to the house. He's yelling for Norma, kind of call back like, Norma! Norman!
So he goes down there in the safe. He has hiding place with the money. He pulls some out. He's looking for that key. Always kind of, it's a really minor pet peeve. It's not one of my actual peeves of the episode. I'm just always like a little thing that kind of bugged me. It's like he really sloppily opens that thing up with a nut. He might be damaging some money with that.
You know, I had the exact same thought. That's funny.
That's the thing. I mean, come on, Romero. So, like, can't you just like use the knife to peel open the plastic wrap or whatever on the outside? Why do you gotta like stick it in? You're gonna damage some bills.
Right.
It's a federal.
Right,
Romero, you know that's a federal crime, right? You can't damage money like that. Anyway, so he finds
He's the god of lifetime pay. He can do whatever he wants.
Come on, Romero, it's not nice. You know, people work hard to make that money. They only destroy when it's legally been sanctioned to be destroyed, and that money is not, to our knowledge. Anyway, so he finds Paris's passport, and he finds the key taped to a page in there. So you look a little detail. It's taped to a page. I don't know. It's just me. Anyway, so Norma returns a little later in the day. I love this. I love the lighting in the scene with the fridge. The fridge is open. She's like saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna stay home tonight." No, but you know what? Little glimmer of light here. I say, don't go towards the light, Norma. Go towards the darkness, to the fun, the adventure. She closes the fridge. She goes in there. She decides to take Emma's advice and live a little independently. You know, there's this great shot of like Norman's pictures in the left of the frame on the desk while she's like kind of while she's getting ready for, you know, she's looking at her wardrobe and getting that Norma Bates. She knows how to accessorize. She has fantastic taste in clothing. She does. I've always said that. She does.
Oh yeah, of course.
But also, this might be some foreshadowing that could be reading into this, kind of a double reference. She, in this particular shot, she's just wearing the bra while she's, you know.
Oh boy, yeah.
Now,
okay.
It's a double reference. One, it's kind of a psycho reference in itself. You know, Marianne Crane always being kind of the symbolism of the bra colors and all that stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, her in the bra comes back very prominently at the end of the episode.
That's what I'm saying, just like her in the bra. And also, it's visually, they've used the shot of like her in the bra looking in the mirror in season 3 when she was...
Right.
And I'm not complaining, so moving on.
So you know how we have this whole theory about like good things happening to Norma and then bad things happening to Norman? I think this is in full effect right now. I think these transitions, these quick transitions where... You know, she puts Norman's picture away. She's really happy about herself. She's gonna go out and get some funnel cake, you know. And
I gotta tell you, that was a big moment when she put that picture in the drawers, like saying, "I'm gonna abandon Norman for a bit." Like, oh my God, Norma, no!
And then we transition to Norman and Julian, and there's this OCD guy in the hospital that's just absolutely freaking out, and it seems like it's chaos, you know. So it's like just this quick transition from Norma being incredibly happy right now and content to Norman in this very kind of intense situation, even though he's trying to escape. So anyway,
Julian basically just, I don't think he like grossly clogged the guy's toilet, but he basically clogged the guy's toilet, and he says he's obsessive compulsive, so he's freaking out that something was, you know, out of order. And he's like screaming his head off.
What flavor was it? What flavor was it?
Oh, God. Just given it's related to a toilet, that line is not appropriate.
I know.
Quote Michael Shannon, how is that appropriate? Anyway. So, let's see. So, Norman and Julian smoothly grab a card key and they escape using the emergency exit. Now, importantly, the emergency exit, a little red light signal saying someone has walked through the emergency exit. I don't know if it's a silent alarm or what, but, you know, emergency exit has been used. We get that awesome hallway shot from the promos of them running down this hallway. It looks really cool. Importantly, use a screwdriver to kind of like open a window, and Norman is holding on to that screwdriver. That's going to come back later in a big way. Let's see. Norman takes that screwdriver. They escape through the window. Success! They've escaped. Hooray! Huzzah! Give them a cookie. Okay, so Romero gets a call. Yep. To a Canadian strip club. No, we wish. Anyway. So Romero gets a call from the DEA. And no, it's not Hank Schrader.
I wish. I got it.
So it's Howard Collins. We'll see if that guy comes back. Howard Collins here is inquiring about Rebecca's involvement with Bob Harris. And Romero smartly plays it cool here. He says he's seen her at the bank. He has to check. He fully discloses he has a checking account, but he doesn't know her personally. Again, he's lying, but he's doing it so well. That Mr. Carbonell, good smooth actor, that guy. There's mention of Babbitt, and I remember Babbitt being a potentially irritating character. Remember, she's the one who's trying to usurp Romero's power from last season.
Right.
So
yeah.
if she comes back this season, I'm saying if Rebecca leads to this character, we may get some good stuff, but we'll see. She might be a bridging device. We'll see. Point is, Babbitt's like the only person that could actually usurp Romero's power. So that's
Rebecca is a plot device. She's not a character. That's my whole problem with Rebecca's existence.
Hopefully she'll get some good moments, at least make her tolerable. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Romero's playing it cool, saying, "Well, let me know if I can help." Which again, love how you can read. Again, these phone conversations they play so well because you can see all the kind of the dread on his face of like, no, it's like this is big trouble. Like Rebecca wasn't even on the radar. Now the DEA is closing in on her, and she doesn't like me. And then there's Babbitt's breathing down the DEA's neck. Not good.
Right.
Not good. Like Dylan walks in there and asks, "Hey Romero, let me ask you this: do you bleed?" "You will."
You will, and then just kind of gives a casual nod, just and walks out.
So let's see. So
that's all.
Norman.
That's all.
Okay, so
next with Nick Ford's ghost.
Nick Ford's ghost. Look, I'm just imagining because Star Wars Force Awakens comes out soon. I'm thinking of Force Ghost Nick Ford. Okay, can you imagine Keith Summers, Nick Ford, and Bob Harris is like sitting down and having like lunch together as Force Ghost at a diner?
Keith Summers doesn't. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Chick Hogan. Yeah. I hear you.
What did you do? I raped Norman Bates. What did you do? I didn't get the boy pizza or water when he arrived for a secret meeting. What did you do? No, I was really pleasant. Well, what are you doing here then? Well, someone has to buy lunch. Anyway, so that potential spinoff is at Hollywood.
I didn't buy pizza for this one kid one time, and these guys on the podcast took it and ran with it. So I'm concerned about my image. So I'm
seriously,
trying to rehabilitate myself.
Spinoff A&E. We're waiting. Our phones are ready for your call. Anyway, so. Norman and Julian are hitchhiking. They're worried about. I think we'll let Freddie Highmore and we'll let Freddie Highmore.
And like I say, kind of like ominous things kind of going on with Numero, with the Numero side of things, and then Norman and Julian kind of jovial. So
yes,
these two sides kind of switch back and forth, I think.
It's jovial, but very kind of unbalanced on Norman's part. Like he's definitely walking into a precarious situation, though. It's always dread around the corner. It goes a little something like this. Starts a little something like this.
Are you sure this is Carl is stranger? We're the crazy ones, remember? You're hilarious. I've just never done it. Yeah, well, I'm guessing there's a lot of things you've never done before. That's all going to change, right, Scout? Yeah. Where is it exactly that we're going? I want you to do me a favor, okay? Don't kill the fun, buddy. It's ungracious. Come on. You losers! See the way they look at us?
I just want to point out two things here before we continue. One, is it just me? I mean, when he yells, especially, that sounds kind of like Jim Carrey. Am I crazy with that?
I can see that.
Seriously, when he yells, he sounds like young Jim Carrey. He's like, "You loser!" I don't know. He sounds. I don't know. Because I'm just thinking how kind of wacky the guy is. He's kind of Carrey-esque. It sounds like kind of like I'm talking about like Once Bitten Jim Carrey. I'm talking about like Ace Ventura in places. That's what I'm right. Anyway, otherwise, I wanted to point out that. I love how he calls him Scout, and I love it. It's just this.
Yes. That's such a nice pet name for him.
Basically, I just love their kind of. It's like a buddy cop. It's like a road movie. It's a buddy movie. Just these two different personalities. One's kind of you get a sense of. You can definitely see where this guy's helping form the Norman Bates that we all know and love. This guy just kind of kind of pushing him over the edge of this precarious situation he's at, and saying, well, you know what, the parents are going to betray you. That's what you're going on here. Like, people just labeling you these judgments. Of course, it's going to be why Norman Bates is so anti-mental institution in psycho.
Right.
You get a sense of this guy definitely kind of leaving an impact on Norman. Not that he's going to get obsessed with him or anything, but like, that I had this experience and I've seen some things, and this guy being one of those things. Anyway, so they're hitchhiking. I love the idea of just kind of of Norman hitchhiking, the idea of like, that's the embodiment of Norman Bates' character. It's just he's like your average serial killer, like so unsuspecting, you let him into your car and terrible things might happen. And
so it's like a terrifying version of a Bob Hope road comedy in a way.
Also, a fun little side note, when there are actually some signs around mental institutions, and like I remember, especially in the Arkham games, they have this too. Like there are actually in real life too, there are signs that just tell you that you do not pick up hitchhikers around this area because they might be escapees.
Yep.
I'm just saying it's really like cool. Like I was imagining that when they're walking down the way, and I love that they had this sense of urgency because we saw that red light. I like they have some Hitchcockian suspense here and there in places. In this episode. Definitely.
And that was we get that scene where Julian's explaining his history at Pineview, been there for 4 years with bipolar, borderline, blah blah blah. Prescribed bees. Who's B? And then he kind of gets into his family's history, how they're neat civilized musicians, and they don't, he doesn't fit in, they don't want him around. And then as he's kind of going through all this, like you said, the Hitchcockian stuff happens where there's this car that kind of starts very much in the background and then ominously slowly pulls up into the foreground.
Yeah, but I also love that thing, like, you don't know, like, if they're going to be instantly picked up by a cop car or something, like, because, again, like, you've seen that red light go off, so they're going to be pursued. And later on, there's a big Hitchcockian tension-filled moment later on when we see the device on the table. We're going to get to that, so it's awesome. But yeah, you're right, though. I mean, there are, like, these little nods to Hitchcock here and there, and just I think the tension just feels so Hitchcockian, it feels anyway, so their conversation kind of goes this, so by the way, Julian, long-lost son of Rebecca and Chuck, perhaps.
Oh, God.
Musicians. Anyway, so it goes a little something
and
like this.
He does seem like the kind of son that Chuck would just straight up disown.
Oh, anyway. We get, speaking of disowning, we just make some more colorful comments, such as...
Nice.
Which, I imagine, is the full Norma Blackout Brewing might say something like this. He was just kind of joining in on the fun, just like chastising cars.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so then the conversation kind of gets.
I can just picture Vera Farmiga out there, like in the snow, hitchhiking with him. Oh, God.
Be hilarious. Anyway, so then the conversation goes to this point, which kind of gives us a little bit of background here. But also, I let's just say at the beginning of this clip you're about to hear, I'm Norman in this position here, just like asking the ways about to ask him. I would exactly be like Norman Bates in this scene.
Don't worry, we're gonna get there, okay? Yeah, I just maybe we could just discuss the plan, just every time I meet someone, they give me gas, just make themselves feel better about locking me out of that pit. Okay? So tonight, we are going to have an amazing experience, and nothing is going to stop that. Got it? Huh?
I just love him. It's just this bat crap crazy guy, just on the side. Again, it's like he had a little bit of Ace Ventura, a little bit of like that one's like kind of like the Grinch. I don't know. He's kind of going all over the place with Carrie screams.
Right.
I don't know. Seriously, watch Ace Ventura, like a clip of Ace Ventura, and then just watch him say, "Oh, come on!
Oh, come on!"
Why would anybody do that? Some liar. I don't know.
So they finally get in the car, and This guy seems like a nice guy, but kind of a little questionable morals in terms of like bringing young boys to a strip club. He's like, no problem, you guys have fun.
Yeah, well, you gotta remember that as far as he's concerned, like, a young 20-year-old, despite the fact Norman's 18. Yeah, I think you can probably read it as that.
That's true. Anyways, I like kind of like some of the. Do you think that the Lights of Winter are supposed to kind of be a mishmash of the Light Festival and then the Lights of the Strip Club? That's how I read it.
You know, that would be cool, but you know, I don't know where the winter would come in on the other side of that.
No, I mean, it is winter. They're having the Winter Festival, and they are at a strip club. Strip club has lights. It's lights in winter.
I just want to mention one more thing before we get to the lights of the festival itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, we're going to be a ways off, I guess, but a little ways off. I love this. Again, I just love the idea of this crazy buddy movie these guys are on. Like, they had this moment where they're just coming on the side of the road, Julian's putting his head on Norman's forehead saying, listen, we're going to get there. I get this whole wad of cash. We're gonna tear it up. We're going to have a lot of fun. And just, it sounds like sounds like a Hitchcockian buddy movie. It does.
Totally.
They're on a road for destruction. One's like all eager and saying, yeah, it's going to be great. And the other one's all unsure of himself. And by the end, it's going to be completely reversed. The other one's going to be the major danger. It sounds like kind of an awesome Hitchcockian movie pitch. I don't know. It sounds cool. Anyway, so they arrive at the strip club. It says live nude girls, but that is a lie because this is not a Canadian strip club. So,
no, it's not.
They walk in there. They're feeling the freedom. Norman's intrigued by this. I like this. They have women dancing in front of Norman. It's definitely raising some flags for him there. No pun intended. I swear to you. But Julian meets Chantel or Chanel. Is it?
Chantel, I think.
Chantel, there it is.
Yeah.
Two there, folks.
He introduces himself as Dr. Greg Edwards.
I love that, by the way. He wants the doctor clout, and he's thinking, well, that guy's
right.
And remember, Edwards is also Julian's doctor. I like that they point that out too. So that's why, maybe another reason he's looking at Norman there because they have the same doctor.
Totally.
So Julian's going to the VIP lounge, and he gives Norman a wad of cash. Not Julian, I mean, crazy as he is, he's pleasant though. He gives him a whole bunch of cash. That's nice.
I think Julian, he's trying, man. He's trying to show, I mean, he doesn't know that this is definitely toxic for Norman,
Yeah. Anyway, so we see Norman particularly is paying attention to the next girl in line, this Athena, and this feathery number.
Mm-hmm.
So Norma, meanwhile, arrives at the Lights of Winter Winter Festival. She's looking stylish. Again, she's wearing the scarf. She's rocking it. She looks awesome. I'm loving it.
She's got the light umbrella.
Tiki, I kid you not, I'm so in love with the visual image of this festival with all these LED lit umbrellas. They look
I like it. Yeah.
I remember even from the trailer for the season, it was like seeing her and Romero dancing with these kind of umbrella looking things behind them, all these lights. I mean, that looks so good, and it does. It looks so great. It's like Norma stepping out of the darkness for a moment. It's full of light. I think that's what it represents, Dig. It's like her stepping out of the darkness for a moment, like everything but light and pleasantness is surrounding her. The one glimmer of light in this dark town has just done nothing but try to tear her down. It's like a little glimmer of hope, and I love that.
Okay, so Alex is definitely pleased to see her when he spots her, and then Norma heads over there. But BlueDragonFive, forget the lights, forget the music, forget the pleasantries. What is Norma Bates here to do?
Well, let's find out. I gotta tell you, guys, I love that. This is one of the cutest Normera interactions I've ever seen. Just they seem so pleasant to each other, so loving. She's there for the fun. I think she ribs him now and again, but saying, "Oh yeah, go over, take pictures, big shot." It's so sweet and endearing. Seriously, Normera, the power couple of the century, really, is fantastic.
Also, I could just see Jessica Jones just sliding in and getting on that whiskey drink. Did somebody
she
say
probably-
whiskey? I like whiskey.
You know, she just probably lift it with one hand and walk away.
Oh God! Oh God!
Then Luke Cage would be following her and saying, "Jones, put it back." It's a lot of booze for Tommy Woman.
Show. We need to be, that show's fun to talk about. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat, but I'm about to finish Daredevil. It's going to be awesome.
Are you? I'm a little behind on Daredevil myself.
I just got 2 left, and now we've dated this thing. Let's move on.
All right.
Darn it. Anyway.
So in my notes, I have Rebecca introduces herself, and then I have "fuck off and die" in there to cause unneeded.
That's a little mean, Tiki. Come on.
She is just there as a catalyst to cause drama and nothing else. She is
I mean,
thoroughly unpleasant. I don't like the acting. I really don't like this character in the slightest.
I mean, look, you don't have to marry her or anything, but you do.
Fuck off and die. Just fuck off and die.
I mean, she's probably going to die anyway, Tiki. You don't need to rub dirt in it. Come on. Look, Tiki, I think writing's on the wall. This character's going to bite it. We know she's going to die. Come on.
I hope so.
Okay, let's not be mean about it.
No, I am being mean about it because I like the season so far, but this is the big sticking point.
Anyway, so I mean, the ending must make you happy though. She drinks sorrowfully, looking at the happy Romero and the happy Normero thing we got going on over there, and saying, "Oh, Norma." Again, Romero smartly realizes, "Oh, Rebecca with Norma. That's terrible." He's going over saying, "Oh yeah, they want a picture with both of us." Gets her over there. They're looking all happy and smiling and making Rebecca feel like crap, and she takes a swig of the cinnamon thing really sorrowfully, like, "I want that." Which I'm thinking maybe in a drunken stupor she's responsible for what's going on next.
Maybe.
Anyway, so let's see. So Norma and Romero are dancing, very romantic again, just rubbing dirt inside Rebecca's wound. Tell me that doesn't make you feel a little good.
It does. No, don't get me wrong. That's like yeah.
Just like kind of creating an infection of like, you know what, just slowly virally die. Just like I'm just gonna sneeze in the wound at this point.
Oh God! Oh no!
You feel the pox? You feel the pox yet, lady? Just get green and scabby. Anyway, so back to this.
Oh, wow.
So off of that horrible image.
That is a pretty horrible.
So I hope you're satisfied. That's all I'm going to give you in terms of.
Yes, I'm very satisfied. Thank you, Dragon.
Okay, so back to this. So I'm going to win us back over here. So the thing of the
that was like some Darwin cannibalism there.
Yeah, not even the iceberg of how dark we can get on here. No, but seriously, let's just transition to again the sweet, the romantic, the wonderfully lit dance between the romantic sequence of Norma and Romero dancing. Everything's good, everything's sweet. Norma's inquiring, asking about Rebecca, and saying, well, I love their. Nestor Carbonell's performance is so good here. He doesn't have to. The scene doesn't really explain how he knows Rebecca, but he's so charming. Mm-hmm. They're so working so well together. You can forget about it. He says, "Well, I know her from back in the day. Like before I met you." And then they recall, and I love this. They recall the first time they met on the porch of the motel after she killed Keith Summers.
Made my heart stop, mostly because I was afraid you'd arrest me.
I'm kind of regretting that. And then there's this moment. This is a beautiful moment here. Just I normally can sense there's something off about her and him, and just asking, thinking all the stress about Norman, all the worry she's been worried sick about Norman. Just asking Romero, is it all going to be okay? And he says, kinda. I do. I think it's going to be okay. Just oh my God, it's the sweetest again. Romero all the way, folks. Just the happiest couple ever. And all it took was several murders to bring them together.
So we go from a really sweet, adorable, classy dance to a really grimy, like messy dance with very confused sexuality. Once again, very much a transition from the different states that Norma are in.
I love that, by the way. I love how abrupt the cut is too. Like they're having in this sweet moment.
Very deliberate. I think it's very deliberate in this episode.
Absolutely. Well, remember last episode they had fantastic transitions. Last episode we kept praising like, "Oh, get out."
Sure, sure.
And here it's like, again, I think they're more thematic transitions, less than kind of like they bled into each other perfectly last episode. Here it's doing great transitions, but more, as you're saying, thematically, like emotionally, here's what's going on, then we go to this one, like direct abrupt cut of like instead of like this romantic kind of classy dance between these two lovely characters, we get Athena kind of doing a really grind right in the camera.
Oh man.
It's like, again, from the south side almost, just really,
Oh god.
like we're going through the back entrance, that sort of thing, So anyway.
Oh boy.
So, but seriously though, she's dancing, and Norman, you have to be out of his mind not to be a little, and you have to raise an eyebrow, like, okay, I'm liking this. So, Norman and Athena chat here. Athena, on the whole, she seems very much like a nice girl.
I think Athena is a classic example of a nice girl in the series. She's much the definition of a nice girl in the series.
Honestly, I think she was an excellent match for Norman here. So she's welcoming anything. She's not judging him. She's very again, she's very alluring and very definitely kind of something that would be perfect for getting Norman to that transitional phase he's going through.
I agree.
So I'd say, so they kind of chat about the VIP lounge. Norman doesn't know what it is and ask him what goes on there, and she says anything can happen.
Oh boy. That's all Norman needs. He's in.
Now, rewatching this, I feel embarrassed that I did not catch this on the first watch. But I think in the back of my mind I was thinking, nah, they're not going for that. But second watch is like completely, they have to be going for that because it's so perfect given what's surrounding the scenes of Norman kind of transitioning into the psycho Norman, where they're walking down the hallway after he agrees to the VIP room, and the shot, it's like a little porthole in the window there, but the way it looks exactly like it's a peephole though. It looks exactly like Norman's walking down a peephole and going into a room for very suggestive stuff to happen. How great and symbolic is that? That's cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
I love that peephole shot. Looking back, it's so cool. Anyway, so we see her. She's mounting Norman intensely. It's really Norman removes the screwdriver. And I love this.
And once again, I definitely agree. That's kind of like the Hitchcockian, like, oh, okay, the gun's on the table.
Yeah, the first time watching this, I was like on the edge of my seat, wondering, oh my God, is Norman going to stab and kill this poor girl? But again, that's the great tension you have. We know what this character is capable of. We see, especially with women, you can like snap in an instant and and put an end to them.
Right.
And in this case, though, again, with that Hitchcock intention of like it's right in full view and you know what happened, you know what our character's capable of, but he doesn't have to do anything. It's like Hitchcock. I want to say this is Hitchcock. It could have been a Twilight Zone, but go with me. It was in this example here.
Okay.
There was I remember on Fat Man and Batman they mentioned this where a kid had a loaded gun, but he didn't know it was loaded. And the whole episode, you're wondering if he's going to pull the trigger or not. He's playing soldier with kids.
That sounds more like the Twilight Zone to me. But
I believe it was on the Mark Hamill episode they mentioned that, but I remember Mark Hamill mentioned that Alfred Hitchcock kid meant Alfred Hitchcock, and
it could be an Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode.
That sounds exactly what it might be.
Okay.
Regardless, a little bit of Hitchcock crossover there. We'll see. Point is, so he's putting the screwdriver on the table, so it's on the table. Big tension. It's right there, right within arm's reach. Norman gets like kissy, snap, jugular.
Oh, kissy.
Anyway, so she's removing the bra. Again, this girl, I don't know, she's doing it all right. She's doing an utterly fantastic job of earning her money here. So
removing the bra kind of reminds Norman of B.
Little flash of Blair Watson's. The point is, this as we know, as we've seen in the past, what triggers blackout mode, in addition to stress, is kind of those sexual feelings. It's like when his heart and his pulse his heart rate kind of go up. Blackout mode definitely is to follow suit, especially in an action that Norma, his mother, and specifically, mother would find shameful and not appropriate for Norman. So he's transitioning in the blackout mode. Oh boy, folks, this is a blackout mode, one of the best blackout modes of the season.
Yeah, I don't think the whole episode is overall very strong, but I think this scene is definitely a standout for sure.
So he goes full Norma. It's at stage full blackout. He goes full Norma, and I can't.
And he's just like, Norman should not be doing.
We can't do any justice. I'm going to let our Emmy-winning actress take this one. This is one for Emmy scenes here. It's so great. Actually, we can't even say it's all Vera Farmiga. It's the two of them. It's Freddie Highmore really earning Vera Farmiga an Emmy without her even being involved.
Right.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. She definitely earns it though. But also, I just think Norman's thoughts on the girl real quick.
Hi.
It's all right. It's all right.
I think that's kind of accurate.
No. What I meant with that one is that if Norma drinks too many of those cinnamon things, she'd be by the end of the night.
Hi. How's it going?
This Romero will be dealing with. But sorry, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Anyway, but this is what Norman's thoughts on this girl would be.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear that?
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so that was a little deposit floor first there. Anyway, so now here's without further. Sorry for the delay. Vera Farmiga and Freddie Highmore delivering Vera Farmiga an Emmy that she most definitely deserves this season. Not as much as almost as much as Highmore, because he definitely earned it this season. But Vera Farmiga, give second on the docket right there, like right up there, like give her an Emmy. So she's a long way at me.
This isn't a place anymore. This is the sort of thing you should be doing. This is the sort of thing you liked.
There's no judgment here. It's no rules. Whatever you want, you can have. Role play. Thanks. Dressing up, sweetheart. Feel close.
So there's Julian just to ruin the moment, ruin the Emmy.
Norman!
Oh, but seriously, just to give that scene a few props, because I mean, it's self-explanatory. But seriously, one of the most well-directed sequences.
The way it cuts back and forth between like Farmiga being there and then Highmore being there, and just the way Farmiga's just kind of like she's fully embracing just the sexuality of it, and oh man, it's really good. It's really
but seriously,
good.
it's just what I love about the direction of this sequence. It's just like that fantastic moment from the end of last season where
Totally.
they cut in between. Again, just that plus the acting just so rightfully flows within each other. It's Highmore. Again, we've always said this. Highmore does Farmiga better than Farmiga does. He does it so well. And at the same time, though, again, this time we get to see it from the other side. Dude, it was really well laid in there with that season 3 moment here. But here, it's in fully different context, a much more intimate context where, she's Vera Farmiga. I mean, she's doing such a great job here. It's like in the same position as Norman. She's kind of dressed similarly to Norman here, and just kind of like in the position of kind of like you can see Norman in her performance. I mean, they're both just they're such an excellent pair, and they've studied each other, and they're just emulating each other's movements and interactions so well. It's like they're in a weird place. They are playing a combination of each other in the scene, and it plays fantastically.
Definitely.
Seriously, it's just astoundingly brilliant. I don't know if we could spend a whole hour on it, but we're going to move on.
And then I just love how the suspense kind of ramps up, when Julian enters, and it just kind of becomes super chaotic, and Norman's just trying to control Julian as Norma. He's just like, calm down, Julian, calm down.
Yeah, and also, I love this. So there's an important detail I caught in the second watch that Norma just so casually goes for the screwdriver because she's ready to kill someone. You notice that?
Oh yeah.
It's like I love how again the Highmore's his body language is so excellent. You see him like when he walks out of there. I love how he looks, by the way, with the little feathered boa shoulder pad thing on. I love that look because again, it's like the closest thing you can have to a boa thing on, but it's a little shoulder patty thing. It looks really cool. I love the fashion on this show. This looks just him walking out with his shirt off, wearing nothing but the little boa shoulder pads, and he's holding that knife like so effeminately, just saying, but Norma's ready to stab someone casually, so unsuspectingly thinks she's the prettiest girl in the room, just like, I'm trying to have a good time, Julian. What do you want? But Julian just like causing trouble and Norman then I think Norman kind of snaps out of blackout mode. I'll admit, as much as I love this blackout Tiki, I do have a gripe with this scene.
Okay.
There is a big missed opportunity, or at least a misdirection that does bug me. So Norman gets hit. His head gets slammed really harshly and really makes for an awesome shot. But his head like smashed into the mirror, and it's like all.
You see, I kind of took it as that him getting smashed in the head with the mirror kind of snapped him out of blackout mode. That's how I read it.
I'm gonna say it's a bit of a missed opportunity because the way first time watching it was like I was thinking Norman was then gonna snap full. He was gonna like then stab the guy or something. I don't know.
Wait. You know what though? I'm gonna argue with you on that though, because the thing I find refreshing about this scene is that there wasn't any violence. It was a blackout, and it was scary, but I also there wasn't any real violence that took place. It was kind of just like a wake up call to Norman.
Remember, there was actually violence because Julian.
Yeah, but no one got killed. No one got stabbed. You know what I mean?
You're right about that, and I'm saying I have no problem if the scene was going that way, but it's just the way when he gets hit against there, they focus on that shot, which is a beautiful looking shot, and you're thinking either he's gonna look in the mirror, he's gonna see Norma, or something like he's still in blackout mode when he gets hit there. It suggests
looking into the cracked mirror and seeing Norma's cracked face would be really cool.
It would have been. All I'm saying is, don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly fine with the ways because yeah, it's an amazing scene. It looks great. I'm just saying it's like the ending of that scene. It looks so good. It's like makes you want more. Makes it want because he's just still in black and white. He's not snapping out of it fully. But then again, he needs time to snap out of it. I guess I'm just saying he didn't like go down or get knocked unconscious. He was like still there. Looks like he was raring to go. But it's don't get me wrong. Grand scheme, very minor gripe. Not as big as the Romero not getting a call yet gripe.
Right.
I'm just saying it seems like a missed opportunity rather than like a flaw with the episode. I'm saying they could have been something cool, but again, we can't have them actually do a violent thing in front of a full view of witnesses, or else the show's over.
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't think the show really needs to like rely on violence. And again, to compare it on The Walking Dead relies on violence and it gets really cheap really fast.
Hey, and you're right. It doesn't. I know you're right. It doesn't. I'm not saying you need violence. I'm saying it's shot the way it suggests violence. I'm not saying it doesn't need it. I'm saying it looks like it suggested that there's more violence to come, but then there doesn't. Nothing comes about it.
Well, it didn't even faze me, but that's fine. Yeah.
I'm saying on the rewatch, it kind of occurs. It's like that's kind of a missed opportunity. Plus, I still would have loved to see a Norma in the reflection if he was still in black and white.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Cool.
Anyway, so but still a great shot. They're just seeing that's embodies Norman Bates right there, cracked on one side of that reflection.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So after a little tussle goes on there, Norma and Romero return home. They're getting frisky, but they find the house has been broken into.
And then I have my notes: just Rebecca equals worst character ever? ?
So I remember a festering open green wound.
Mm-hmm.
But again, cutting back from that horrible, vivid imagery, we have this really lovely bit where like Ramirez is holding her close, like, who would do this? And Ramirez saying it's going to be okay. It's like it's assuring her that everything's going to be okay, everything's fine. That's a good Normera moment.
It is.
So again, folks, polish off the Emmys, give them the Highmore here. Seriously, first of two scenes to that. Again, out of a trio of scenes, just give them the Emmys. Give them an Emmy at this point. Highmore, you
only got 2 more years to do it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, next year I'm sure he's going to definitely get one if he hasn't got one this year. This year he earned it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So Norman's in the ambulance. He's handcuffed with the boa shoulder pads on.
I love how they didn't take the boa away. They're just like, he likes it. Just leave it. Just give the kid a break.
Anyway, so I gotta tell you, the Daniel Gumpton, if I'm right, something Gumpton, the actor Edwards here, he plays him very well. I love Edwards here. Doesn't say a word. He's just supporting Norman. You see this poor kid here, and he just kind of feels sad. And he plays more in this scene before we get to the Emmy-winning scene. He just plays like kind of this poor kid who's just been through so much. He plays like a little kid here. So he's gotten in trouble, and he's like that adult figure come over to him saying, "Well, you son, you want to talk about it," that sort of thing. Goes a little something like this. Plays it really well. Really nice moment.
Where's Julie? They took him to the hospital. He has a cracked rib. Got him banged up. He wasn't as lucky as you. Where are they? Outside the club on the landing strip. You and Julia came here earlier tonight to get out into a fight with some of the bouncers. Is there anything bad? I don't think anyone got hurt except the two of you. That's what you mean. Look, I'm gonna find an officer and have him take off those cuffs. There's no need for that. And I'll take you back to the line here. But we're gonna stall.
I just love how kind of wounded and how like kind of sullen kind of Norman plays there. He's like sounds like so lighthearted there. He's just like saying, "Well, what happened? Anyone get hurt?" He's so Norman shows you why you're rooting for Norman Bates not to fulfill his destiny here. Like this poor kid. He doesn't want to hurt anyone, and he's just asking, "How did I get here?" We see in the scene Norman's definitely an innocent when it comes to these blackouts.
Totally.
So then the Emmy-winning scene happens, if I'm right here. So yeah, it's a ride home.
Okay.
So ride home here is so I have the tail end of it, so let's set it up.
Mm-hmm.
So he's telling Norman it's not the first time Julian's broken out, and he does it to be found and recaptured because Julian seeks attention. Which, given that backstory earlier on, it gives you some light on Julian's situation, where his parents. I mean, Julian probably is there for a reason, most definitely. But at the same time, he gets sense rich parents. Rich musician parents that probably we don't want to deal with this hands-on, so let's put him in a nice place. That's what they're figuring there. So Julian on some level just definitely wants attention. He wants to kind of get, as Edwards puts it, he wants someone to care.
Right.
And again, looking at Julian by comparison of Norman, again, it's just that Norman is in some way kind of seeking attention on some level. Again, he wants to be in Norma's life. He wants to be Norma's focus, but Norma betraying him and getting rid of him, that really hurts him. And, Julian's perspective, parents who needs them, they just send you away, they betray you. And, of course, that's feeding Norman's dark feelings he has for Norma right now. At the same time, he just desperately wants that love like Julian does.
Mm-hmm.
So he points out that, Julian at this point just does this constantly, so he won't let me help him. I know you haven't been taking your medication, so is this going to be the same with you, a fruitless effort? And again, he asks this very calmly, asks him very seriously, just like, Norman, am I going to be able to help you, or are you going to keep resisting me like this? And he's not being mean, not being harsh, just asking him genuinely, well, am I going to be able to help you? And then we get this moment, and seriously, folks, I mean, we've had the Emmy at the ending of the first episode. We had the definite Emmy. Give him a huge, all the melted down Emmys of any actor who's not deserved their Emmy. Give him an Emmy for the second episode, the ending of that one, the saddest episode ever. Give him that Emmy. And oh my God, here we go. Here's a new one. I'm sure there's an Emmy moment in the third one. Specifically, I'm thinking of. I guess the breakup with Norma, was also a great moment. But he's always good. Anyway, so it goes a little something like this. Without further ado, but also I just want to point out the car is not moving during this conversation. I thought it was going to be while they were driving, they were having this conversation. But part of me was in the back of my mind was thinking, Norman's just probably saying to himself,
"Then we'll just sit here then, I guess."
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so the scene goes like this. Get your Emmys ready, folks. Emmy bait, follow the promos that are right, absolutely. The season deserves an Emmy, at least, very least, give an Emmy to Highmore. Seriously, give the kid an Emmy. He's earned it. Come on.
All right, and that kind of rounds out the episode. So for the first time in a while, we actually have a promo. Do you want to do? I forget. Do we do checkout odds first? Do we do promo?
Well, I'm sorry. It's a little bit unfinished business. I want to mention something that was really clever with the performance. I said one last thing. I love that he emulates Vera Farmiga there. He emulates her in this. Remember, like the whole "I'm scared, I'm so scared" moment. I mean, literally, seriously. I mean, that scene. Again, I love that Hunter's just bearing his heart and soul here. He breaks in and says, I'm tired of not knowing if I."
Yeah,
but seriously, just that moment that Vera Farmiga delivered. I love that his mother's still so ingrained in his psyche here that he's emulating her without even knowing it. You get to see that desperation play. It's just like, if he can have help, if Dr. Rhodes can help him, he'll take that. He's begging him. He's bearing his heart and soul, please. But he's just, I'm tired of not knowing if I'm killing these people or she's killing them, and just help me, please. Just, oh my God. He's doing Perkins better than Perkins. He's doing Farmiga better than Farmiga. This kid has earned it. Anyway. So, I'm sorry, checkout odds.
Checkout odds? Okay, so, let's see. Here we go. So we have Norma. She was at 88 last week. I brought her down. Honestly, I brought her down just to 87. It's kind of a tough call just because she put away the picture. She's trying to distance herself from Norman. I think that's a good call. We have Dylan down from 30 to 20. I think it's safe to say at this point that unless something like really bad and tragic with Chick Hogan or Caleb or something happens, I think Dylan and Emma are going to be fine.
But you said normal was 78. You said 87, so it's now
78.
Down
I'm
to
sorry.
78.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then looks like Emma was 42. Now she's at 30. Kind of similar reason. She's a little higher, obviously, because of her medical condition.
It's looking like her and Dylan are leaving town, which is good. They might survive.
Let's see. Romero goes from 75 to 80 just because he's looking like he's in more and more of a precarious situation with Norma and being the wife, and what's Norman going to think about all this? And finally, we have Edwards going from 50 to 52 just because he's getting close to Norman, and that is never good. All right. Should we do the blackout?
Yes, so this episode we had one majorly awesome blackout. It was a stage 4 blackout mode, and let's just show kind of what the tally is this episode. By the end of this season, we'll put them all out there on Front Street for you there. We'll just have them all listed out there, kind of like carve them on a prison wall, so to speak. It's like, this happened, and this happened. So even people in the...
There was one blackout! One blackout!
And boy, was it a glorious one. Seriously. So again, really well shot. Vera Farmiga did an excellent job, as did Freddie Highmore. Again, enough praise. We have a whole season worth of praise for those guys. Anyway.
Okay, so I guess really quick, let's go through the promo.
Promo, just general spec-wise, the promo, I don't know how large-scaping it is for the rest of the season, because it's kind of like we have a week off, so I don't know if that was entirely for an episode. I want to think it's
just for next episode. I'd like to think that they're not manipulating us like that, but you never know.
I recall Normera is getting really seductively hot and heavy. Again, 50 Shades of Normera, I kid you not. It's getting really racy in that promo. I'm talking overhead shots.
I think the most important thing to note about the promo is just simply the whole Emmy would be certifiable not to notice. It's like, yes, finally, we've been saying that.
Just like Deadpool being a game changer. This is
right.
We've been saying Emmy so many times it's going to come. That shows you, folks. Never count anything as as a lost dream. You know, just keep saying it. It may be true.
Okay, two things I really had note here in the promo. We see Dylan, Dylan and Norman pretty much meeting each other in person for the first time this season.
Yes.
Dylan's got something to tell him, and I have a feeling that something's going to involve Emma, and Norma's not going to be happy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And then let's see. And then also, what the hell is Norma freaking out about, and what does she even say?
Yeah, is she yelling at Rebecca, or is she yelling at Norman?
I hope she's yelling at Rebecca.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, wait. Actually, wait a minute. It could be Caleb.
It could be Caleb. That's actually kind of what I was thinking when I first saw it, is that it could be Caleb. Yeah, I think you're right on there.
Could be Caleb.
She said something to the effect of, like, you're ruining my life, get the hell out, or something like that.
Well, let's see. The episode's called Refraction, if I'm remembering, so...
Also, I have looked up in the dictionary. I have refraction, noun, the factor phenomenon of light, radio waves, etc., being deflected and passing obliquely through the interface between one medium and another through a medium of varying density. Yeah.
Well, that by definition, I love the transition from episodes where you have like lights of winter to refraction, where light is definitely a factor in that.
Sure.
And what it could be is like let me speculate what the episode could be about. Dylan stops by to tell Norman the news that he's leaving town, and it looks like Dylan's going to be escaping. Everything's going to be fine, but then Chick Hogan's going to strike somehow, and Caleb coming back is definitely going to complicate that matter, and Norma's going to be having something to say about that.
Yeah, Caleb has definitely kind of been like a loose thread this season for sure. We don't know when he's going to show up, so.
But then again, refraction could also mean, if not just that, then refraction. Who are the two sides of our mirror this season? It's always going to be Norman and Norma. So that could definitely be it. Finally, kind of those two reuniting and just kind of like having some more words with each other.
Right. So they're mercifully taking a week off because we are like just now kind of starting to get caught up on our recap shows. But we'll be back next week. Well, we'll be doing a recap show on time for Bates Motel for Refraction. All right, so final thoughts.
This episode was this is a good episode.
I'm not nearly as high as I thought it was the weakest of season 4 so far by a pretty long shot.
Again, so far, I would say, yeah, comparatively, still, we've had 3 excellent episodes. I mean, come on.
We've had 3 excellent episodes and then this.
Look, okay, fine. Rebecca.
Look, I want to give it some props where props is due, because obviously that final scene with the, in the VIP lounge is great. I feel like that's kind of like a big scene of the season you can market it on. There's some nice stuff. Yeah, I think the Normero stuff is just kind of dragging its feet a little bit.
Come on. Normero stuff is beautiful.
What can I say? I just don't like Rebecca, so she kind of, I don't know. Rebecca's not really the only problem I have here. Yeah, it's just, Julian's fine. I think Julian's fine. I just don't necessarily, like, if he just kind of, like, drops off the face of the earth after this, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. I don't know. Just, I'm very kind of underwhelmed by this episode as a whole. But, this is coming off of 3 really, really, really good episodes. So, I'm sure it'll ramp up.
The only thing I'm worried about is the whole Romero, or basically no one looking into the fact that Norma's possibly killed people. Right.
We'll see.
That's the only worry I have. That's the only major gripe I have with this episode. Otherwise, you just gotta give it time to see if it pays off along with these other things. But I thought it was a solid episode. It was really entertaining. I'll admit, look, I'll give you this. I'm saying, even watching the episode for the first time, I admit it wasn't like nothing really huge happened. Don't get me wrong, the ending was a really cool blackout. But again, the other 3 were major episodes. Big things happened in them.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you know what was it was I think it was a great kind of transition episode. Like, you know, Norman's getting to a neat place character wise. We had some fantastic acting towards the end. It's really fun. We got some good Normero stuff. We're getting some good Dylan Emma stuff, some potential directions, you know, forming there. I'm saying it was a solid kind of transitioning episode.
Right. I hear you. Okay, fair enough. So you want to kind of just play us our Norman thing, and we can get out of here for the night?
Sure.
All right. Oh, how was your night, Norman? Just fine. I was locked in here like a prisoner. I'd rather stick pins in my eyes.